Do you guys remember back when Jar and Junkie made a collab in Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, that one. Well, another YouTuber made a video poking points on their arguments. Well, with me being a fan of FNAF, mostly the male ones of course, I'm here to put in my two claws into the matter. Now, to give an advance warning, it was kinda hard for me to hear what this guy was saying. He either has a speech impediment or has an accent that is kinda difficult to get the hearing grasp. Otherwise, let's get to it.
Hey, so actually a quick disclaimer before the video begins. Okay, so this is what I was going to originally include the intro sketch, but then I thought it would work better for my next video. So in other words, the storyline I made for my last video won't be active for this one, but instead my next one, so I might as well just start the context now. Just a robot, and the name's Junkie made a video explaining why they don't like the FNAF series. It wasn't that good. That's literally all the context you need here.
Well, everyone has an opinion. I found the video okay and fun to watch because it had two of my favorite commentators under one video.
Hey guys, I'm just a robot, and as you can clearly tell, I am a robot.
And I'm Junkie. I'm not a robot. I'm an animal.
Was that supposed to be a joke or a diss? I'm kinda confused on that, but it does make me wish I get fan art like that someday.
And Jar here thought it'd be an interesting idea to do a video on robot animals.
Junkie, you're not supposed to introduce yourself like that. You're supposed to do an unfunny skit about you breaking into my house, and then through a series of very awkward dialogue, we agreed to do a video on something together.
Or we can not do something that makes your average, low-budget middle school play look like a Broadway production of Hamlet.
Whoa, that's a fascinating concept. Let's do that instead.
Whoa! Jonah leaving in footage that doesn't relate to the video at all and just pads it out? Sorry to say, but... No, you're wrong! Okay, now you can go. This isn't one of those huge debunk moments.
Again, it was hard to hear, but all I caught was something about them being wrong, and then he wants us to remember this for later on in the video to explain his point.
Between Minecraft and Five Nights at Freddy's.
And what difference would that be, Jar?
Minecraft was, and still is, actually a fun game.
Yeah, compared to other indie games such as Bendy and the Ink Machine, Cuphead, Shovel Knight, Undertale, and so on, Five Nights at Freddy's is less of a game and more like a button-pushing simulator with low-quality, cheap jump scares thrown in the mix.
Now, there's actually a lot to unpack here. First off, and credit to Luxter for pointing this out to me in the script, but yeah, sure, fine, this is fair. Let's compare a horror game to a platformer, RPG, and a run-and-gun shooter. All three games have completely different mechanics, not to mention atmospheres, to the point this comparison is literally just apples to oranges.
Yeah, but to be fair here, all FNAF really is just sitting in one spot and make sure you're not using too much power to keep robotic killing animals from, well, killing you. The only time Scott really changed anything was when he released Sister Location and spread it out to be like mini-games to complete in order to get through the story, and even the final part to get a different ending. It was nothing but the original mechanics. Comparing to another game such as Bendy and the Ink Machine, you get to actually move around and explore the area while in fear that anything and everything can come out of a shadow or a corner and chase you and scare you, rather than you panic in one position with a swivel head.
Also, slight nitpick, but poor wording is poor. Horror games aren't exactly meant to be fun, more so scare the audience.
Actually, it's a mix of both. The game has to be fun and scary in some sort of way to bring players back for more. Make it not fun and they will find something better to play, like Dark Souls and Amnesia.
I get what you're trying to go for using this. I'm relating the Five Nights at Freddy's style of jump scare, which usually tends to come out of nowhere and is high-pitched in tone. That being said, the earwhip is what bugs me in particular here. And while I don't mean to be that guy, you know, that homeless guy that begs in the street and tries to get money through pointing out production issues, this legitimately hurts. If it was purposefully annoying, fine, I get that, but I'm going to have to play an old quote of mine for my commentary on Siphon. Yeah, no, frick you. Even with my volume at one of its lowest settings, it still managed to completely destroy my ears. This is why we have something called ear rape warnings. And if it was for the sake of a joke, then sorry, you've just heard your audience about warning for the sake of a joke. Ear rape jokes can work in videos, but something that's crucial is not going overboard. Simply adding an ear rape warning before the jump scare would help prevent the audience from getting hurt, and gives them some form of consent. Don't think about it too hard.
As much as I can understand that logic firsthand when you started out with the first game, by the time the others came out, you pretty much know what you are getting yourself into, and you can always turn down both your computer and the game's volume if the jump scare audio hurts or disturbs your hearing. Now, you can make the argument that it can be countered when you need the audio for the fourth game, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, when you need the audio to listen for certain sounds and cue for which door and animatronic to watch out for. But Scott wanted his audience to get the full scare experience, so I can't fault for that.
There's also another issue I have. Stage switch.
Objection!
Your autopsy report— wait, Frick, cut. You show no footage to actually back up your points. So, Five Nights at Freddy's apparently is just low quality jump scares. Yeah, here's the funny thing about this. Throughout this video, there was quite literally no footage shown whatsoever. And before you try making the argument that FNAF is popular, therefore most of your audience will understand, no excuse. As you shouldn't just assume all of your audience will know what you're talking about.
Fine. Two can play this game. Hold it! Char and Junkie never assume their audience are going to know what they are talking about, for not everyone either plays or watches the game. But they know that a good percentage of the people on YouTube would know about it thanks to YouTubers like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Game Grumps, 8-Bit Ryan, and tons of other tubers who play the game that most viewers watch for gaming content. This Phoenix Wright thing is weird.
See, because if you had shown the jump scares, over time you'd see that they vary heavily in quality. As such, I decided to get a jump scare from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now compare it to a jump scare from the newest FNAF game, Ultimate Custom Night. Notice how there's an obvious dip in quality from the jump scares, how the latter doesn't have as much tension or have as much effect. The first could actually spark feelings of terror, especially if they're given movement. Looking deeply at Custom Night, it's nothing more than the screams was the animatronic vibrating.
Now, I'm afraid I'm going to have to pluck a few Bonnie chords here. See what I did there? There's multiple possibilities on the difference in quality, such as Scott had more characters to animate in Ultimate than he did on 2. Withered Bonnie in 2 gets more animated because he had less characters and less animation to deal with. While in Ultimate, there were so many that he had to dwindle down some of the quality to give more animation to the newer animatronics, such as Hippo, the Rockstar Gang, and so on.
At this point, it's pretty much like Loki dying in Marvel. People can't tell if it's actually true or not. There's even a Five Nights at Freddy's 5. You would think that Scott would stop after that point, but no, the series continues.
But why though? The series is making money, it's popular. I mean, Pokemon has how many games by now? Mario? I don't get it. Why would it be surprising for an indie game that's practically gone mainstream to keep going consistently? Is it because it's an indie game? There's no elaboration here. I don't get it.
Yes, it's true that all those games do make money and get a good fanbase to come back for more. But unlike some of FNAF, those games actually try to branch out to other genres to try and make something more for others to enjoy. While Scott, he tried a more RPG version, also known as FNAF World, but that didn't go too well for a good number of the fans in the fandom. So asking for a little more isn't too bad to call for, especially to up the play a little bit.
At all.
With Pizzeria Simulator and Fredbear and Friends.
This is the most deranged, lazy, absolutely asinine, any other synonym for downright idiotic point in the video. Because hey, fun fact for those familiar with the FNAF series, this is wrong. Fredbear and Friends is no FNAF game. Well, no, not exactly. Fredbear and Friends is a fan-made Five Nights at Freddy's game. Scott Cawthon had no hand in the creation of said game. As soon as I saw this point, all my faves in this video swiftly jumped out of the window, broke its back, and is cursing the lack of insurance. And why is that? Well, it's because this demonstrates my central issue of this entire video. There was no effort, nor any research put into this video at all. A simple look to the FNAF wiki would help show that. This game has no connection other than being related to the same franchise. Now, your next line is, I addressed this in the comment section, therefore your point has no purpose. This is where you're wrong, as regardless of if it was a simple mistake or not, my point still stands, a little to no effort was put into this, as a simple rewatching upon this quote would have shown you that you were wrong, instead of having to have your fans point out this mistake for you.
No one is perfect, dude, so he made an error on his part and needs to get an update to his system. Yes, so a little review and double check on his sources are nice, but even pros make slip-ups. You talk like you expect 100% perfection out of him. Not even Freddy Fazbear expects murdering night guards will go 100% perfect every night.
Yeah, but you have to admit, Jar, some of the theories put forth by the fandom are usually quite entertaining and well thought out. Some of MatPat's best content were theory videos on Five Nights at Freddy's, after all.
Yeah, a lot of the theories are interesting, but no matter what theories are put out there, there's always going to be a few flaws that makes the theory not fit in too well with the rest of the story, making the timeline of events in the game incredibly hard to follow, and it's completely impossible to fit everything together if you're not keeping track of every single little detail. Personally, I think that the story of Five Nights at Freddy's has so many plot holes that Scott is praying that people either ignore them or fit everything together themselves.
Bitch, where? No, seriously, are we supposed to take this as fact? Where are these actual plot holes?
Well, if you follow the YouTuber MatPat and all his theories on the lore FNAF like I have, you will see there are many plot holes to think about and wrap your head around. Once more and more hints, clues, locations, and characters get added, the deeper one would have to dive. And even if one question gets answered, it just creates more questions, creating more and more plot holes. It took the theorist many episodes in compiling all his information he could gather through the games and books to come up with the finished timeline that he himself theorized is how the lore goes down. But that's just one of the many possibilities. There can be many answers to this, and we as fans just have to create our own or follow one that sounds logical. Or in some cases, non-logical.
I'll be honest, at this point, I feel like Scott is just trolling the fandom. Remember all that drama where the fandom couldn't figure out for the lives of them whether that purple rabbit, what was his name again? Oh yeah, Bonnie. Yeah, whether Bonnie was supposed to be a guy or a girl.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The fandom couldn't agree to disagree, and they kept on arguing until Scott stepped in and confirmed that Bonnie was indeed a male. But like with most fan bases, they ignored the author's intent and kept on arguing.
I'm hooked, extremely hooked. Mostly because when I went online to actually try looking for research of this happening, I could not find squat. How am I supposed to believe this is real? Frick, even just linking some forum or comments or something would help make this point seem a little bit more credible. But even without the exact evidence, I still have issue with this. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was released in November of 2014. Assuming all this drama involving Toy Bonnie, at least I'm assuming it's Tiny Bonnie given the screenshot you show is true, that would mean this drama happened around that time period, which was roughly around 3 years ago. This is actually true, and it more than likely is, and that means you're judging the fandom for an event that happened years ago. Frankly, evidence of this sort would be more credible if it was used closer to the time period we're currently in.
Yes, they used the wrong picture. Oh no, end of the world apparently. But yes, the whole argument was real about whether Bonnie was supposed to be male or female. For many fans at the time believed it was a female spirit that took over Bonnie's suit. But at the time, it wasn't the only argument that was flying in the fandom. Others popped up, such as Chica is a duck or a chicken, though the name gives it away. And one of the longest ones is Mangle and Funtime Foxy male or female animatronics. And I actually did look over some of the forums and fandom theories about this, and they're all over the place. That it comes to the point where Mangle can be both. Same for Funtime, they can be both.
And this is not the only time the fanbase has pressured someone into following their mindset. The fanbase even pressured the most subscribed channel on YouTube, PewDiePie, because he made a Let's Play of Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, and he said the game series really didn't scare him anymore, because it's nothing but a garbage heap of cheap jump scares.
You know, that might just be an indicator at this point that you're beating a dead horse. Five Nights at Freddy's might as well become the new Sonic franchise.
Only that's not what the phrase beating a dead horse means. Beating a dead horse is a phrase used when you're continuing something that's outcome has already been decided. Only, no, FNAF has never really had an outcome. Like, commentary-wise, it could say hitting somebody like Cungy Muller's beating a dead horse if he was covered to oblivion. The points were already made clear to him. Here, though, how does that make any sense? Oh my gosh, stop talking.
In a sense of a way, I kinda see it. It does make sense for Scott is the creator, so he already has a plan on where he wants the universe to go through when it comes to character and story. So in a way, he does have the power to be his own dead horse if he wishes.
I think we can all agree that PewDiePie learned that the game really isn't scary, but you should always fear the fan base.
No, fear the porn instead. Have you seen the FNAF anime?
Oh, fear both, my friend. Porn can be scary, but porn can't type as much as the fanbase can.
But to be perfectly honest, I think that compared to other large fan bases, such as Steven Universe and the Rick and Morty fan base, the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base is relatively tame. At least they haven't bullied any of their fellow fans into committing suicide over a stupid little piece of fan art. Speaking of fan art, let's check out all the new fan art people have made for me.
And that's how the video ends. No, legit, that's actually how it ends. Okay, now remember when I put in that long thing of context in the beginning of the video? Yeah, here's where it becomes relevant. Throughout this whole entire video, the most junky and discount Wally you have interacted with in the intro skit alone. Most of the chemistry in this video ends up just being, Jar says something, Junkie comes in agreeing, Junkie says something, vice versa. There was barely any feel of this actually being a collab. Frick, I see more chemistry with some modern PokeTubers and that's sad. In the end, Junkie feels here, simply for the sake of having him on your channel, and it makes the video feel more hollow as a result. Now, I'm done, so on the final thoughts.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows really? I see it as a way to have an animal and a robot to come together for one video to actually give off the theme of the video, rather than Jar just standing there talking with a title and doing nothing but giving off some small proof, small evidence, when he has an animal friend he can call up on to help him with. I would happily do a collab with Jar, Junkie, or almost anyone to talk about FNAF or anything really. And that's about it. The last bit of his video is pretty much his opinion on the video as a whole and how he feels disappointed on the two commentators. And well, that's completely fine. He has his opinion, we have ours. Now, that doesn't mean you are safe from criticism and giving off some growls and chuckles. That's all I gotta say here about Jonah Smith's video. I can't say much about him personally. Again, it was hard to listen to him on some of the video for reasons or another, but I can't fault him for that. It's just him being him. I thank you all for hearing my opinion on this matter, and I hope you enjoy what I had to say. I'd like to thank to Just a Robot and Junkie to give me permission to do this, for I want to be a respectful member of their fanbase. With that said, Fang out.